Let's have a look at creating a category from scratch. So once again, I'm under Catalog and Manage Categories. Okay, so that takes me into the list of categories. So let's say, for argument's sake, that if I take a look on the front end of the site, I want to create a new category. And the category I want to create is called Holiday Essentials. Okay, so we're just about a mixture of products within Holiday Essentials. And I want that category to appear here directly after accessories. Okay, so how do I go about doing that? Well, firstly, I don't worry about where it's positioned to start off with. The most important thing I need to know is what it is a subcategory of. And in this case, it's a subcategory of the root. So the root in our case is this default category. So this is a subcategory of that root. So at that point, the first thing to do is make sure I have clicked and highlighted the root. I would double check that you have. Quite often, you can come to this page. So if I go straight to the page, it looks like the root is highlighted, and so I might go on and proceed to add a subcategory. You may find that it doesn't appear where you necessarily expect it to appear in the first instance. So it's always worth just making sure that you have forcibly clicked on the category that you want this to be a subcategory of. Okay, so I've selected the default root. So then you'll see these two buttons up here. We've got add root category and we've got add subcategory. Now we have no need for add root category at this moment in time. And again, if you look at the running a multi-store course, then we will talk more about adding root categories there. But in this instance, the only real button we're interested in is this add subcategory. So I select add subcategory. Okay, so over here on the right hand side, we can now see that it's creating a new subcategory. And we need to give this subcategory a name. So I will give it a name of Holiday Essentials. Right, is the category active? Now again, if we were in a live production environment, what we might do at this point is always set the category to no until we're happy that we've created it correctly, put all our content in, and we're happy with it. And then we might make it active. So there's absolutely no way a customer could see this category. We're just training, so I'm just going to set it to active straight away. Now the next option down is this URL key. The URL key is what will appear here, which is the direct access to that particular page. If I leave this blank, it will create the URL key based on what we called the product. Okay, so the URL key will end up being holiday-essentials, and then it gets suffixed with .html on the end of it in this particular setup. So I can choose one. If I'm doing some search engine optimization work, URL key is quite an important part of that. So I may have something in mind that I want to put in there. If I leave it blank, it will create it itself. If I do leave it blank, it creates it itself. I can always go back and change it, and I'll show you how that looks later. Okay. Then we have this thumbnail image. Now, just as a warning here, I'm not going to do anything with thumbnail image. The reason being that out of the box, Magento hasn't got this implemented on the front end. Okay, or certainly at the time of this video being made, and pretty much 1.x of Magento is coming to the end of its life, so I can't really see that being resolved. The thumbnail image, the idea behind it is that if you have a subcategory within, let's say, this category here, you would have a thumbnail image to link through to that category. So it puts it within the products. But like I said, it hasn't been implemented. There are resources out there, technical resources out there, so you can get it implemented. We're not going to cover that in this video. So if you haven't got that implemented, please just ignore the thumbnail image part. Right, description. The description will appear at the top of our category, or certainly by default it'll appear at the top of our category. So let's have a look what that will look like. So I've just got some dummy text that I'm just going to paste into here. Okay, it's all in Latin, but don't let that fool you. So it's just some dummy text. Right, so let's have a look at what this page is looking at for now. So if I save the category, one last thing I'm going to do is just make sure that I've included in the navigation. I save this category. We're going to work on this as a work in progress. So I just want to show you where this is at the moment. Okay, so I've saved the category. Go back to the website. Notice that we have no holiday essentials over here. Let me just refresh the page. Okay, now we have holiday essentials. I click on it. You'll see we have the name of the page, holiday essentials, and that dummy text I put in. There's no formatting on that text. So in this box here, I have a choice. I can put HTML in, or if you have the Wysiwyg Editor enabled on your store, then you can select this button here. So Wysiwyg Editor stands for what you see is what you get. It's a loose term these days. It doesn't necessarily mean what you see is what you get. But if I click on that, it'll open up a pop-up and you can see that we have a content editor here. If you want to know more about this content editor and the features in it, follow the content management course that we also have in this series. Okay, so what I can do though, doing the basics, is I could go in and highlight a bit of text there, make it bold, create a new paragraph, maybe create a couple of paragraphs, and part of the text might be italics. Pretty much anything you can do in a word processor you can do within this. When I submit it, what it does is it converts that into HTML code. Okay, so that's the raw HTML code that if you were familiar with HTML, you could type that in yourself. Okay, I just save the category and let's see how this looks now on our site. Okay, so now we have formatted text in there. I could also put images in there if I wanted to as well. Right, going down further, you will see there is this option here, which is image. Now I can just create a general banner image that could go at the top of this page, and really the purpose of that image is just to kind of identify the page, make it stand out that bit more, so that as people are going through categories, they have a kind of like a visual anchor that they can reference when they go to that page. So if I go and let's say choose an image, and I'll just choose this image here and open that. Now what happens now when I choose the file, it's choosing it from my local machine. Okay, so if you notice, this pop-up box here was my local machine, and let's go back and choose that file again. When I choose the file and open it, it's done nothing with it at the moment. It's referencing that it's got the image there, but it hasn't done anything with that image at this moment in time. It won't do anything until I hit save. When I save it, it's going to upload this image to our server. And what you can see here as well is there's a little thumbnail of the image. I can click on that and it'll show me what the actual image that I've uploaded looks like. It opens that in a new tab. Okay, and now if I go and have a look at our page, you will now see, okay, image at the top of the page, then our description. So now we want our products. Just a note on these next 3 tabs. These are all to do with search engine optimization, although it's widely accepted that meta keywords are not any use for search engine optimization. In fact, some reports say that it's actually meta keywords are negative towards it. But the page title will affect the title here. So by default, the page title will be picked up from our name of the page. So I can alter that, and the meta description is a description that's quite often picked up by the search engines and displayed on the search page underneath your product link. So all worthwhile things to do. It's definitely worthwhile researching SEO, search engine optimization, and seeing what you can be doing with that. It's nothing that's not Magento specific. That's a very general discipline. Okay, so let's go along to the final tab here, which is category products. Okay, we'll have a look at these 2 in a moment, but I want to get the products into the page. So I select category products. Now, because I've already saved this, because I've been going along saving this, it's already applied the filter to this particular page. If this was the first time I'd looked at this page without saving it, it would be displaying all of the products in here, which is effectively the same as this. Okay, so the first time you come here, you might see that. Once it's saved though, you're likely to see a filtered version of this, only displaying products that are already in that category. So if I want to put some products in here, I can just tick the boxes. What this doesn't show me here though is whether the product is visible individually. Okay, so whether it can be visible in the catalog or whether it can be visible in search. And we need products that are visible in the catalog if we're going to tick them here. So if I was to inadvertently, such as these color options for a configurable product, if I was to inadvertently select these, it wouldn't do any harm, but they just would not display in the category because they are not visible in the catalog when we define the product. Okay, so it's definitely worth noting that. All right, so as I go through though, I'll just select products that I'm pretty sure will appear, and I'm just going to expand this out just so I can see many more products in my list, and we'll just get a couple more in there. Okay, when I'm happy with that, I just save the category. Saves it. Now it'll represent this page but with the filter turned on. Okay, so now it's just showing me products that actually appear in this category. Again, if I wanted to add more products, I just hit reset filter, and now I can go through and tick more products that I wanted to appear on here. Right, let's see what this looks like now. Okay, so now we're building up our category. So we've now got a selection of products, we have a description, we have an image. Okay, let's have a look at how we would go about maybe reconfiguring how this particular page looks. So we can see, looking at this is a 3-column page. We've basically got the main column in the middle, and we have a left column, you can see there, and we have a right column here. Okay, and what goes into those are predefined. Okay, so if I wanted some filters up here, the way to enable that is to go into the category, go to display settings, and we need to set this option is anchor onto yes, and that will turn on the filters on the left hand side of the page, or in this particular theme it's on the left hand side. So if I save that and refresh, we now have filters. We'll talk about how we get the various options in those filters, how it decides what goes in there in the video specifically on filters. Also, what about if I want to get rid of what's going over on this right hand side? I actually want my products to spread the rest of that page. So to do that, I've got this tab here which is custom design. Okay, and currently what the custom design is doing is inheriting the page layout, so how many columns are on this page, from its parent. Okay, what I can do here is actually specify how I want this to look. So you'll see there's 5 options here. We've got empty, which means that it doesn't apply any style at all to it other than the basic style. We can have a 1-column page, which would in that case we would lose our filter as we would with empty. We've got 2-column with a left bar, so the bar would be on the left hand side, so the only column would be on the left hand side and the rest of it would be dedicated to products. 2 columns with right hand bar, which is the opposite of that, and then 3 columns, which is what we've currently got. Okay, so I'm going to select 2 columns with a left bar and then save. And what you'll see now when we refresh this page, okay, we now have a page that is more dedicated to products rather than the information surrounding it. Okay, if I wanted to create a subcategory on holiday essentials, so let's maybe say I want a subcategory that is summer essentials. Okay, once again, I go in and I make sure I've got holiday essentials highlighted. Okay, so I'll just double check that, and you want to check that holiday essentials is appearing over here as well. And then I select add subcategory. Okay, now it tells me which subcategory is it that I want, what I want to call it. So I'll call it summer essentials. I make it active, and I make sure it's in the navigation. Now I can go through and configure all the other options that I wanted, and obviously go in and select some products for it. I'm just going to save that though, and what you'll see now when I refresh is we've now got a drop down for holiday essentials and summer essentials, and obviously I haven't put anything in that category yet, so it's currently blank. Okay. Finally, if I do want to change the order of my categories, it is a drag and drop. Okay, but just be careful with it because you can accidentally drop stuff in the wrong place and there's no undo facility on this. Okay, so just be kind of hyper aware when you're doing this that you are dropping it in the right place. So let's say I want Holiday Essentials to appear after Shorts. What I do is I just drag it, and you can see that as I highlight over a category, so I've got accessories highlighted there. If I dropped it there, it would actually drop it into as a subcategory of accessories, which is not what I want. What I want is this line here, so I want it to be after Shorts, where it shows that it's going to insert that item in between shorts and swimwear. And in fact, if you look at the hover over there for Holiday Essentials, you can see it's showing two categories and an arrow pushing in the middle of those two categories. So once I drop that, it moves it up there. Okay, now what I might find, I haven't in this case, what you might find is sometimes that doesn't immediately move, particularly if you've got more complex catalogues than what we've got here. You would probably need to go and re-index your data or get your system administrator to re-index the data, which is part of the normal maintenance of a Magento store anyway. But now you can see that that category has been inserted in between shorts and swimwear.